Good news, ladies. Your days of being raped are over, thanks to the advice of one Phil Mason, aka Thunderf00t, a YouTube vlogger who hates feminists and loves awesome analogies involving animals. I was reading the blog of another fellow YouTuber, SomeGreyBloke, who spent 9 posts deconstructing everything that was wrong with Thunderf00t's 18-minute-long YouTube treatise on why women need to be careful of what we wear and how we behave in order to not be raped. So I'm not going to go into all of it, but there were just a few points I wanted to expand upon, like this awesome analogy involving an animal that Thunderf00t makes. By far the best weapon you have to fight against a stronger, more powerful adversary is psychology. Point in question, the simple wasp. The wasp is typically a factor of a millionth smaller than a man or a woman, and yet they manage to effectively discourage people from attacking them. Women are typically only 10% smaller than their male counterparts, and for those who find this a little too cryptic, people know that a wasp will fight to defend itself. That's its self-defense mechanism, and that fact alone will discourage most attackers. This is 100% true. I am at least 1,000,000 times bigger than a wasp, and those are terrifying. So this is just great advice, ladies. If you are confronted with a potential rapist, you should channel your inner wasp. That potential rapist should not know whether you're just buzzing around for a bit before taking off or whether you're about to stab him to death with something popping out of your butt. Who knows? And, because 80 to 85% of all rapes are done by acquaintances, you should channel that inner wasp literally all the time. And this should probably have no social consequences for you at all. Just a couple of months ago, I was at a party outside and there was a wasp there. And everybody was like, oh my God, who invited this wasp? What a great idea that was. And, the wasp just went from group to group, making lifelong friends. And at no point did anyone try to rape that wasp. Not even the guy who ended up going to the hospital in anaphylactic shock. Phil moves on to another analogy to prove that he's speaking from experience when telling women how not to get raped. I know what many of you'll be saying, oh, that's easy for you to dob out such advice. You've never been in such a situation. Well, actually, I have, all alone in the very late evening in a mountain pass with no one around for miles. I faced a predator, a mountain lion with a cub that was stalking me. I played the game for real stakes. Had I given off the body language of the victim, of the prey, there is a very real possibility that I wouldn't be here making this video. That's right, a mountain lion tried to rape Thunderf00t. He doesn't say that explicitly, but why else would he be using this story as an example for how women shouldn't be raped? So yeah, Thunderf00t is out there in the wilderness with a larger beast, and he had a choice to make. He could have been the victim. He could have dropped to all fours and started munching on some bits of grass and then made an alarmed noise and then run away. But no, that would be prey behavior. So instead I don't think he really goes into what he did, but I assume he made himself look as large as possible using his jacket, maybe blew a mountain lion rape whistle and called a park ranger. And, that's what we should all do when faced with a potential rapist. Also, when you run away, maybe use a zigzag pattern. So I know that all of this must sound very silly to those of you who don't know as much about preventing rape as Thunderf00t. But let me tell you, I've done a lot of research into this, and a lot of what Thunderf00t says in his video is indistinguishable from the words of wisdom offered by actual admitted rapists in prison. There have been several studies looking into their stories and what they have to say. And let me tell you, Thunderf00t has done a great job of sounding Exactly like those rapists. For instance, there was a study done in 1984 that included in-depth interviews with rapists in prison. And these rapists went into their justifications for why they raped. And the researchers found several major themes throughout all of the answers. One of which was that many of the rapists believed that the women they raped didn't do enough to convey the fact that they did not want to be raped. Even though many of the rapists were holding deadly weapons at the time, they still believed that the women just didn't fight back because they secretly wanted it. One woman, one of the rapists described, she was abducted at knife point in the middle of the night and gang raped. And actually, they interviewed two of her rapists, and they reported that she didn't resist it. So she was probably into it. They don't go into detail on what would have happened with the knife if the woman had resisted. But many of the other rapists do mention that they only got violent with women because of resistance. But who knows? Maybe if she had resisted, they would have just left her alone. Another common theme in this study is the idea that nice girls don't get raped. A large percentage of rapists in prison vociferously agreed with many of Thunderfoot's points here, using their victims' dress and behavior as ways to excuse raping them. Their comments ranged from pointing out that a woman they raped was wearing tight black clothes or wearing a skirt, or that the woman spread her legs when exiting a car, or that a woman claimed she was a virgin but seemed very experienced while getting raped. Or this gem, she was a waitress, and you know how they are. One rapist even claimed that his victims deserved it because they were all prostitutes, even though pre-sentencing records indicated that none of them were prostitutes. Much like Thunderfoot, these rapists believed that these traits made their victims more rapeable. So to follow Thunderfoot and the convicted rapists' thinking, women can avoid being raped by not wearing tight black clothing or skirts, by keeping their knees locked together when exiting cars, by not being waitresses, by not being mistaken for prostitutes by, deranged rapists, or even by not having sex ever, not being experienced in bed. Don't get me wrong, even if you follow all these rules, there is still a very good chance you'll be raped, but at least there will be fewer ways for Thunderfoot and your rapists to blame you for it.